Hi everyone, hey, this is Johnny, and this is Pepe, my 2004 Mini Cooper S that I am listing for sale. So I'm going to do a little walk around. If you haven't had a chance yet to just check out my YouTube channel, I did a little video on this car and the build, so I won't get into a lot of the specifics about the build itself because there's already a video on that. Feel free to check that out. But I'll just do a little walk around here and briefly mention some things, and then we'll go for a little test drive if you have any questions. So as I mentioned, this is a 2004 Mini Cooper S, has about 131,000 miles on it. I bought the car locally in 2019 and had another little Mini Cooper. That one was lowered. This one I decided on lifting. So I got crazy and ordered these large tires, 235/75 15s, and some Vors racing wheels. Did a little reverse engineering and made those big monster tires fit. Now I obviously had to do a bit of some modification to the metalwork and so forth. Had to cut out some panels down in there and weld in some new sheet metal, and it's still a tight fit, and at full lock they still do rub, just so you're aware. So the car itself though is actually really clean. I think this rear panel at one point was repainted because there's some evidence of some not so great paintwork that's kind of coming up, and possibly maybe even just a little bit of body filler there now that I see that crack. But the rest of the car actually is in really good shape. Again, for a 2004, there are going to be little, dings here and there that I'll just point out. Now this is just kind of a fun novelty build. I did this just because I'm kind of a car guy and I like quirky things, and that was the premise behind this. Am I out doing overlanding for weeks and weeks, camping and traveling in this? No, I am not. This is more of a weekend, cars and coffee, conversation piece. Of course, everywhere I go, it gets a lot of just thumbs up, and it's fun to talk about. It's been popular on the interwebs. You may have seen it on there. But so anyway, did the lift kit on it, 2-inch, did the big tires, created that front bumper myself. As you can see, I have some lovely patina rock chips there. All of this black stuff was vinyl wrapped, and as far as the little trim too, and it could probably use a little bit of care and love with maybe just freshening up some of that vinyl wrap. This is also vinyl wrap. If you look really close, I didn't do the best job, but it kind of completed the look I was shooting for. So the top of the car is originally white, and that's vinyl wrapped black as well. I made these little mounts for the rack, and I did it so the sunroof would still open up underneath that rack. And yeah, what else? Let's look inside. In the first build video I thought that this was like plastic, but I think it's actually real leather. It's just a little bit dated and aged. You can see there's some little cracks here, and then that's probably the worst of it right here. But the interior itself is in really good shape. It's nice and clean. No cracks in the dash, no cracks in the windshield. Obviously, it's a 6-speed manual, which you kind of just have to have in these little Mini Coopers because they're just so much fun. And it runs out really good. No check engine lights, no drips, no smoke or anything like that. Now I did mention in the ad there is some moisture of oil or maybe power steering fluid that is underneath the car. It does not drip anything, but it is a little wet under there, so something is leaking, but again, nothing on the floor, so it's not that significant. It's just a little bit of moisture. So the stereo has been replaced. It's a JVC Bluetooth, has a USB plug. Transmission runs really well, and I believe that when I bought the car, the previous owner had mentioned he had just replaced the clutch, so the clutch is new. Under the hood, it's just your basic Mini Cooper. Now obviously when I added these larger tires, it robbed the car of a bit of horsepower, and so I went ahead and did the 17% reduction supercharger pulley. I also replaced the tensioner, which is a common problem. You can see these motor mounts are good and decent. It's always a problem area. So aside from the reduction pulley, I also added some plugs and a better coil pack, and of course the Alta cold air intake. And because I have that, as you can see, the snorkel is not really hooked up. So the snorkel is just kind of for aesthetics. Everybody asks where I got that, and it's not for this car. Watch that other video and you'll see my explanation on that. Now the front shocks are leaking, as you can see. I do have a complete other set of springs and struts from my 06 that I will be including, so you can replace those if you want, or if you're actually really wanting to go above and beyond, I would maybe fabricate some custom shocks, off-road shocks that may be or adjustable, just to really dial it in if you want to go to that level. Again, because I had to fit these large tires, the sheet metal and the fender work, they have been cut, just so that's perfectly clear. I have these flaps, and again, because these tires are so big and they look so cool, but at full lock they still do rub a little bit, so just so you're aware of that. Okay, well, there's a little overview, and again, a little rear, little bumper thumper, I made that as well. A little shot of the rear here, pretty much all stock. And we will go for a little drive now. The exhaust is also replaced. Again, in that other video, you'll learn about that. All right, let's go for a drive. The sunroof open and the window open, so if you hear a little additional noise, understand why. Actually shut that so it's not as noisy. With the car drives really, really well. It's straight, it doesn't wander. I can do highway speeds, no problem. A little rattle in the back somewhere doing something inside here. As you can see, the car picks up really, really well. I would say the slowest part, because of the tires, is basically when you're starting out at a light. But then, like, when it's rolling, it's got some good torque. So that was just about 60 miles per hour. Obviously a little fast for the neighborhood, but just a demo to you that you know, it drives pretty straight and it's comfortable even at a little higher speed. But anyway, there's a little few minutes of driving. Hopefully that gives you a taste, and let me know if you have any questions. Again, if you're interested about the build, make sure you check out the other video that I have. I've had it up on YouTube for a couple months, and you'll see all the little nuts and bolts and details about that. So, thank you. Okay, a couple other little things that I thought I would just mention that I didn't before, but I believe I did put that in the narrative of the listing. So the heat works great on this car. The air conditioning doesn't. It has air conditioning. I did throw in just one of those generic bottles of AC refrigerant from O'Reilly last summer. It blew cold for about 30 seconds and then it didn't. So I don't know if there's a leak in the system or something, but it's not just a matter of recharging it. It's going to take a little bit more, just so you are aware of that. Everything else, though, in the car, like I said, works great. The heat works great. Wipers work great. All the headlights, the horn, all the safety items, the window regulator. This is a common problem on Minis. The driver's side I just replaced not too long ago, so it's nice and fast. The passenger side is, well, actually today it's okay. In the past it's been a little slow. Obviously the colder it gets, the worse it gets. Defroster works. We just went on our little test drive. You can see the temperature is just nice where it should be, right in the middle. Gas gauge works. Tachometer works, no problems there. Little clock up there works. The sunroof works. Has the little shade on both the front and the rear, which is operational. Power mirrors work. Emergency brake works. Stereo actually sounds pretty decent. It's got the Harman Kardon speakers. I don't know if those are original or not. Typical glove box. And that's that. So again, let me know if you have any questions. All right, thank you.